Needless to say, I'm thrilled to see both those guys back. I mean, they were good friends. They've always been good friends and really good teammates.
You confident they'll do the job here?
I think Gary's proven that he knows how to put it together on the field, and I think John. It seems like John's come a really long way, and unlike a lot of guys that are superstar guys that don't want to put the hours in, I think he's totally cut against the grain on that, and he's willing to put the hours in, and they've done a good job of accumulating the talent.
Of those teams, the great Super Bowl teams, who would you have guessed would have become coaches and executives out of the teams? Would you have thought Gary was good?
The only thing I thought would have held Gary back is he was a pretty quiet, shy guy. So I thought he'll never want to sit there and talk to the media guys. He just won't want to do that.
I think early in his coaching career, that was very much the case.
Well, that's why he turned down the CU job.
Right.
He didn't like that part of the job.
Yeah. I mean, he was as good a student as the game, and quite frankly, when he did get to play, I think Reeves loved it because he actually ran the offense away.
He ran the play that was called.
Yeah, he was like a backup catcher. In baseball, becomes a great manager, a guy that really studied the game. And when you talk about when he went into the game, he actually won 3 or 4 big games. And I'm not saying because if they had scored enough, but he was when John got hurt in Buffalo, Gary really I think he was 9 of 10 and was in a position to win that game.
And he was always thinking a play ahead, like a coach would. Right?
Yeah.
So he would say, for example, he'd go in the huddle and say, "Hey, it's maybe it's 3rd and 15 at the 40-yard line or something," and he'd say, "Hey, if this isn't here, I'm coming to you. Get what you can. We'll kick the field goal."
Okay.
I mean, Gary was always. He always thought like a coach.
You mentioned something earlier. You said Kubiak's heart rate was always 40 beats per minute. Well, were you a slow heart rate guy or a thumpy when you went out there to kick?
Mostly I was fine. I mean, I found the hardest thing for a kicker is standing on the sidelines and waiting.
Right.
Because it's very easy to let the conditions start to get into your head. The wind. The grass conditions, whatever it is. And, I was actually working, when Les called me yesterday, I was working with a young kicker and talking to him a lot about, coming up with those thoughts those positive thoughts that you keep repeating to yourself to block out those negative thoughts that come in and say, the wind's howling right to left, or, Buffalo is a prime example. When we kicked in some horrible winds up there.
Yeah.
And, fortunately, I always made my kicks in Buffalo. But I think it was because, I just repeat, stay true, just don't try to kill it. Just,
So you were thinking process thoughts? Because I just read a story on Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman for the
Arizona Diamondbacks.
Arizona Diamondbacks. And before every game, he believes that happy people perform better than sad people. So his favorite comedy is Billy Madison. So he recites lines that make him laugh from Billy Madison. So I guess it doesn't matter how you do it, whether it's, keep my swing tempo right, or you just make yourself chuckle, as long as you're positive.
Yeah, I mean, what are you occupying your mind with, right?
Right.
Good thoughts or bad thoughts?
Right.